Hi, and welcome to Digital Moose. My name is Kevin, and today I'm going to guide you through 9 simple steps that will give your business a solid foundation. So if you're watching this video, chances are you've been struggling with marketing, or maybe it just feels like you're not connecting with the right audience yet. And believe me, we've been there too. In fact, I can honestly say it took me a few years to figure these things out myself. And that's why we created this video. We want to show you it doesn't have to be that complicated. Once you truly understand what you do, and more importantly, who you're doing it for, things are finally starting to click. And the best part, we're not just going to talk about it, we also built a free online tool at digitalmoose.ai that goes hand in hand with this video. We call it the Business Foundation Blueprint. And this video will walk you through the questions and help you gain real clarity. You can choose to do the exercise on a piece of paper or through the free tool. But if you do use the free tool, you also get a free report with data-driven insights and practical next steps. So to make things easier to follow, we'll be using the solution Content Moose as an example throughout this video, because it's a niche-specific product with a clear use case. So if you do want to get the most out of this, I suggest doing it together with the tool. And don't worry, there's no hidden credit card registrations, it's completely free. Question number 1. What specific market are you in? Now, let's start with something that sounds simple, but can actually make a huge difference. And this is actually the question that we have struggled with the most as well. What market are you really in? And I don't mean something vague like marketing or health. That's like yelling in a stadium and no one actually hears you. But when you narrow it down, suddenly you're speaking directly to the people who need you the most. With Content Moose, for example, we're not just in marketing, we're in automated content marketing for small to medium-sized businesses. See the difference? It's specific, it's focused, it's easier to connect with the right people. So think about what you do and then ask yourself, what kind of category does it really belong in? And then go a step further. How would you describe it to someone in one clear sentence? Here's a little trick. Imagine somebody scrolling through a list of service providers. Instead of saying design or coaching or consulting, how could you label your market so it stands out? For example, instead of saying design, maybe you're in conversion-focused design for local service businesses. Or instead of saying consulting, you can say financial consultancy for women-owned businesses. The more clearly you define your market, the easier it becomes to create messaging that cuts through the noise. So take a moment to write down what market you're in, and then challenge yourself to narrow it down even further. And don't be afraid to commit to a niche. You can always expand on it later. But the more focused you are right now, the easier it becomes to grow. Question number 2. Who exactly is your target audience? Now that you know what market you're in, let's talk about the people you actually serve. And no, everyone is still not a good answer. If you try to speak to everyone, you end up connecting with no one. And you probably heard it a million times before, but I can tell you from experience, it's true. And I've made that mistake more than once as well. So instead, think about a specific type of person or business that will benefit the most from what you offer. Are they founders building from scratch with limited time and budget? Are they e-commerce store owners who are struggling with customer retention? Consultants stuck in a feast or famine cycle looking for steady clients? For Content Moose, for example, our target audience would be small business owners managing WordPress sites, marketing teams lacking resources, and entrepreneurs prioritizing cost-effective growth. So here's a simple way to picture it. Let's say you're looking for soccer shoes for your kid, and you walk into a nice shopping area, you see 2 stores. And one of them has got a big sign that says all types of shoes for everyone. And the other says high-performance soccer shoes for kids. Now, what store are you likely to go in? Even though the first store technically also has soccer shoes, it doesn't feel like it's speaking to you directly. And marketing kind of works the same way. People pay attention when they feel like you're speaking to them directly. So take a few minutes and start listing out who your audience really is. Think about things like, who are they? What do they do? What stage of business are they in? What challenges are they trying to solve? And don't worry about being too specific. Clarity is way more valuable than being broad. And you can always expand later. For now, just focus on one clear type of customer you'd enjoy working with. And if more come to mind, that's fine. Just write everything down. You can still refine it afterwards if you need to. Question number 3. What do people in your target audience have in common? All right, so now that we've defined who your audience is, let's take it one step further. What do they actually have in common? And even if they come from different industries or background, there's usually some shared traits that show up again and again. And these traits are gold when it comes to building connections. And we're not just talking about demographics here. We're talking about things like, are they always short on time? Do they always like to do everything themselves? Are they skeptical of anything that sounds too salesy? Do they care more about results than fancy packaging, for example? Let's say you work with small business owners. One thing you may notice is that they're always busy and barely have any time. Like many entrepreneurs, they probably want to grow, but maybe they'd rather have somebody else figure out the strategy and the execution. With Content Moose, our clients use WordPress CMS, they seek to improve organic traffic and brand visibility, they face limited budgets and time for a full-time staff, and they probably prefer automated solution over manual work. So here's another way to think about it. What would they all nod their heads to if they heard you describe them in one sentence? For example, if you would tell them they're ambitious but practical, would they agree with you? Or they want to grow, but they don't want to learn new skills to get there. And you probably described your clients to a friend or colleague at some point and said something like, they're all kind of like something. And that something is exactly what we're trying to capture here. So for this question, take a few minutes to list out some common traits. Try to cover things like their day-to-day reality, specific tools they use, what kind of business are they, what motivates them, what frustrates them. And it doesn't really matter if you list 5 or 30 options. The most important part is that you get it all out. Even if some feel very similar or obvious, just write them down. This part will help you create messages that feel like you're reading their mind. And don't stress about being perfect here, you're just painting a picture. The more real and honest it is, the more helpful it will be down the road. Question number 4. What pain points do the people in your target audience face? What do they want to eliminate? Now that we've clarified who your target audience is and what they have in common, let's flip the script a little bit and talk about what's frustrating them. What kind of problems are they dealing with right now that they would love to get rid of? Because here's the thing, pain often motivates action way more than potential gains. If your email suddenly stops working, you'll drop everything to fix it. But if somebody tells you there's a way to improve your email setup, you'll probably wait. Because one feels urgent and the other doesn't. And your customers are no different. They're likely dealing with stress, friction, inefficiencies that are slowing them down. So ask yourself, what's getting in their way? What's making things harder than they should be? What are they fed up with? Now, let's bring that back to the example of the small business owner. They might feel overwhelmed by the amount of time it takes to stay visible online. Or maybe they've invested in tools or services that didn't really deliver. Maybe they're trying to do everything themselves, but it feels like they're always behind. Or maybe they've been following advice and never really fits their situation. And now they just don't know who to trust. These kind of frustrations build up over time. And when you understand them, you're in a much better position to offer a solution that actually helps. And at Digital Moose, we see this all the time. A lot of our clients come to us after trying a bunch of disconnected strategies. They've been told to post more, to do more SEO, or to start a blog, but nobody actually gives them a system that fits in their daily life. And that's why we built Content Moose, to eliminate those headaches and give people clearer, simpler paths. Some pain points for our clients would be time-consuming content creation, difficulty maintaining editorial calendars, challenges optimizing for SEO effectively. So now it's your turn. Take a few minutes to list out the pain points your audience is facing. And to help you get started, try writing something like, they're frustrated by, or they're tired of, they hate when, they're overwhelmed with, and you fill in the blank. Try to think both big and small, from everyday annoyances to deeper struggles. The better you understand what they want to eliminate, the easier it becomes to show them that you are the right person to do it. Question number 5. What needs do people in your target audience have? What do they want to gain? So now that we know the pains of your ideal customer, let's talk about what they actually want to gain. And I don't just mean what they say they want, but the real outcome they're hoping for. This isn't about features or technical stuff. This is about the deeper needs and desires behind their decisions. And really try to think beyond the obvious answers. If somebody says, I want a new website, that's probably not the full story. What they might actually want is more credibility, more clients, or less embarrassment when somebody asks for their website. Here's a little trick. Try finishing this sentence from your customer's perspective. What I really want is, and fill in the blank. This could be something like to feel in control of my business, or to stop wasting time on things that don't work, or to get more consistent clients without having to chase them. to free up more time so I can focus on the parts of my business that I actually enjoy. For some, it might even be more revenue or growth. For others, it could be freedom, peace of mind, recognition, or just the confidence that comes from having a clear strategy. For Content Moose, a lot of people we help are small to medium-sized business owners who are tired of doing it all on their own. They want an active blog on their website, yes, but more specifically, they want to free up time so they can focus on other parts of their business and create a stronger connection with their company and potential clients. So for this question, take a minute and really step into your customer's shoes. What would they love to have, feel, or achieve? If they had a magic lamp, what would they wish for? Write down everything that comes to mind: big goals, small wins, emotional desires, even the wishful thinking stuff. If your customers had a wish list, what would be on it? Because remember, this is what drives people to take action. When you understand what somebody truly wants to gain, you can build your message around helping them to get there. And that's where your marketing becomes a lot more powerful and a lot more like a natural human connection. Question number 6. What fears do people in your target audience have? What do they want to avoid? Now let's go one level deeper. We already talked about what your customer wants and what's frustrating them. But here's the next big question. What are they actually afraid of? What are they actively trying to avoid? Now, this might sound very similar to the frustrations we talked about earlier, the pain points, but there's an important difference. Frustrations are about the things that are bothering them right now. Fears are what could go wrong in the future. So, it's that quiet voice in their head that says, what if this doesn't work? Or, for example, a frustration might be, I'm not getting enough customers. The fear behind that would be something more like, what if I never get enough customers, and what if my business fails? That fear is what keeps people tossing and turning at night. So for this question, step into your customer's shoes again and ask yourself, what are they afraid of losing? What outcome are they trying to avoid? Or what makes them feel uncertain or hesitant? Maybe they've already tried a few solutions that didn't work, so now they're afraid of wasting more time and money. Maybe they're worried about choosing the wrong strategy, hiring the wrong person, or getting left behind while others grow faster. Maybe they fear they'll never figure it out and they feel like they will always be stuck. At Digital Moose, we hear this all the time. Small business owners saying things like, what if the content doesn't reflect my brand? Or what if I get flagged by Google? What if my blog content contains incorrect information? These aren't just business concerns, they're personal fears, and they carry real emotional weight. And when you're in that mindset, what you really need isn't just a strategy, it's clarity. It's a path that feels actually possible. So now it's your turn. Take a moment and really think about your audience. What would they quietly admit if they felt safe enough? What fear is sitting underneath their hesitation? Even if it feels small, even if it's just a hunch, write everything down. You might notice that many of these fears are just a deeper layer of the frustrations you already listed. And that's totally normal. If somebody is frustrated because they can't get consistent clients, their fear might be, what if I never can? Or if they're annoyed by tech, their fear might be, what if I'm just not cut out for this? This part is really about empathy. If you were having a coffee with your ideal customer and asked them, what worries you about this? Now, what would they actually say? Because here's the thing, when you understand somebody's fear and you show them that your product or service helps them avoid that outcome, that's when real trust starts to build. So you're not just solving a problem, you're saying, I see you, I get it, and you're not alone in this. So go ahead, make a list of the fears your audience might be carrying around. This might be one of the most powerful parts of your message, actually. Question number 7. What solution does your product or service deliver? All right, now let's shift the focus back to you for a moment. We spend a lot of time inside your customer's world, and that's exactly where great marketing starts. Now it's time to ask, what's the actual solution that you deliver? What's the before and after transformation that your product or service creates? And we're not talking about just the tool or the process itself. We're talking about what it is that changes your customer once they've worked with you. People don't buy features, they buy outcomes. Nobody wakes up thinking, whoa, I really want to buy SEO services today. But they do think I need more people to find my business online. And it's the same with websites. People don't want a website. They want the thing that a good website gets them. More leads, more credibility, more opportunities. So here's the real question. When somebody uses your product or service, what's different for them? What changes? What problem is solved? What progress is made? Let's look at a few examples to make this clear. If you run a meal delivery service, the direct solution might be healthy food delivered to their door, right? But the bigger solution, they save time, they eat better, they feel good in their body again. Or if you're a coach or consultant, the solution isn't just sessions or advice, it's momentum, focus, confidence, or support. If you sell an online course, sure, the customer gains knowledge, but the bigger transformation might be clarity, control, financial freedom, or peace of mind. With Content Moose, we provide automated weekly blog articles. In our case, the solution would be that clients no longer need to learn how to write or hire expensive writers. They get consistent content without spending hours every week figuring out what to say. Another solution could be that clients no longer need to manage content creation and publishing from scratch. With just a quick weekly review, everything is handled, saving them hours compared to when they do it themselves or when they hire a full team. So some even say their biggest win is that they can finally stop worrying about what to write or what to post on social media because it's done for them automatically. And that's the kind of transformation that we're talking about here. So here's your exercise. Look at what you deliver, and for each thing ask yourself, and, which basically means, and what does that allow them to do? So example, I write blog posts, and they get consistent content, and they can stop worrying about how to write or hire expensive writers. And there's the transformation. You might have a few outcomes, and that's great. Just list them all out. Think about the things that your customers gain, like time, money, energy, or clarity, and also things they feel, like confidence, peace of mind, progress. These are the real reasons why people choose you. So go ahead, take a few minutes to write down the solutions and outcomes you deliver. Get specific, think beyond your service, think about what comes after. That's the value they remember. Question 8. What gap exists in the market? By now you've got a gold mine in front of you. You know who your audience is, what they want, what frustrates them, what they fear, and how your solution helps them to get results. So here's the next big question. Where's the gap? In other words, what's missing between what your audience needs and what's actually available to them right now? This one is really important because this is where opportunity lives. And you don't want to sound like just another version of what everybody else is offering. So you want to offer something that fills a real need, something that others might be overlooking, ignoring, or overcomplicating. So this is where to start. Look at the alternatives your customers might turn to. And I don't mean just direct competitors, also do-it-themselves tools or free resources, the big agencies, the all-in-one platforms, the freelancers, or even the friends they've asked for help. What do those options all have in common? What are they doing well? Where are they falling short? Maybe everything out there is too complex, or maybe just too basic. Maybe it's too expensive for what it actually delivers. Maybe it just takes too long to implement. Or maybe it creates new problems while solving only one. Let's look at an example. Let's say you run a small video production service and you notice that every time a client reaches out, they're completely lost on how the process works. They don't know what to prepare, how long it'll take, or what the cost will be. And most production companies expect the client to just figure it out as they go. So you try to fix that. You create a simple onboarding system with a clear checklist, transparent pricing, and a visual timeline that shows exactly what's going to happen and when. Suddenly, your client feels supported and way less overwhelmed. And that, for example, is a gap. You didn't just offer video productions, you offered clarity, guidance, peace of mind. We saw something similar in the content marketing world. For example, small business owners usually had two options: do it themselves, which takes a ton of time and energy, or to hire an agency, which is often expensive and time-consuming. And on top of that, most solutions out there required the client to do much learning and setup on their own. Nobody was really automating the things that could actually save them time. So we created Content Moose, a way to get high-quality, optimized, and personalized content that sounds exactly like you and gets automatically posted to your website and social platforms. Now, you can choose what it writes about or let our tool decide based on your brand and goals. And because much of the system is automated, we were able to lower prices significantly, making it more accessible while still delivering real, high-quality results. And that was our gap. I want to grow online, but I don't have the time, budget, or desire to do everything manually. Now it's your turn. Ask yourself, what are people constantly complaining about in your industry? What do they keep saying they wish existed? Or what are they settling for even though it's not actually what they want? Are some clients being overlooked or underserved? If you serve a local area, is there a service nobody offers yet? So go ahead and start brainstorming. Even a rough idea of what's missing can give you a powerful edge. And of course, there are situations where no clear gap jumps out, and that's perfectly fine. The key is to understand your unique strengths and present them in a way that solves real problems more effectively than the alternatives. Question number 9. What are the unique selling points, USPs, of your product and service? Now, you made it to the final question, and this is where everything actually comes together. You've identified who your audience is, what they want, what's holding them back, and what others in your industry actually aren't giving them. This is a time to shine a light on what makes you the better choice. So what are the unique selling points, the things that make your offer truly different and valuable? And no, great service or high quality isn't enough. Those are expected. So your unique selling points are the things that actually make people stop, think, and say, wait, that's actually what I need. It could be the way that you work, the way you communicate, your pricing, your tools, your experience, or simply how smooth and simple you make everything for your clients. Maybe you've automated something that everybody else is still doing manually. Maybe you offer a tailored solution to a very specific niche that nobody else is speaking to. Maybe your process cuts their time in half or just make things feel less overwhelming. For Content Moose, our USPs would be content that publishes itself. What I mean with that is that Content Moose automates the full workflow, from idea to SEO, blog posts to scheduled social media content. Number 2 could be smart content tailored to you, because we create topics and content that matches your brand voice and goals, fully automated and still under your control. The third one would be agency quality without the price tag, because we deliver consistent, high-quality content for a fraction of the time, effort, and cost of a traditional agency. So now it's your turn. Ask yourself, what are you doing that others aren't? What features or experiences are unique to your business? What's your special mix that makes your offer stand out? What would make somebody say, that's exactly what I've been looking for? And again, don't worry about making it too perfect right away. Just start listing the things that make your offer different, better, easier, faster, or more enjoyable, more flexible, more impactful, whatever applies to you. And get specific, be honest, and think about what would really matter to your customer. This is the final piece of the business foundation blueprint, and it's very powerful because once you know what makes you different, you can say it with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Right, so that's it. You've done the work. You now actually have something that most businesses never take the time to build. A clear, focused foundation that actually makes marketing easier. You know exactly who your customer is, what they care about, what they're struggling with, and what they're afraid of. You've defined how you help, what makes your solution valuable, and what makes it stand out. And that's a pretty big deal, because with this kind of clarity, you can stop second guessing and start making confident decisions. Whether it's writing your website copy, planning your services, or simply figuring out what to say on social media, now you got a powerful but simple foundation for your business. And that's just how we like it here at Digital Moose. Now, if you haven't already, I really recommend heading over to digitalmoose.ai and using our free business foundation blueprint tool. It's the same exact process that we went through in this video, just a little bit more interactive. So you will be able to fill in your answer, edit as you go, and get a clean, organized report at the end. And the report, you can use it as a cheat sheet for every future marketing decision. It even gives you some extra pointers based on your answers. And yes, again, it's totally free, no tricks, no credit card pop-ups, just a useful tool that we built to make this process easier. Once you've received your report, you're in a great position to move forward. Maybe that means rewriting your homepage to speak directly to your ideal customer. Maybe it means refining your services or doubling down on what makes you different. Whatever you choose to do next, you'll be doing it with clarity. And that is what turns random efforts into real momentum. If you do want support along the way or tools to help you execute faster, we are of course here. Digital Moose was built to make marketing easier for small to medium-sized businesses. From automated content platforms to expert guidance, everything we do is designed to save you time and help you grow faster. So thanks again for watching and doing all the work, of course. You can definitely be proud of yourself for sticking it out to the end. At some point you will look back at this moment and think, wow, that really helped my business. And you've already taken a huge step by getting everything clear for yourself. Now go and make it count. Stay focused, keep it simple, and keep moving forward. That's the Digital Moose way, and now it's yours too.